I'm Lauren LaRosa.
I'm Mimi Brown.
And this is the latest with Lauren LaRosa. And y'all, Fetty Wap is home and he done pulled up on popped up on us, okay, on the Breakfast Club. We're going to break down the interview. Mimi was there to watch it go down.
Sure was. It was a good interview.
We got some reactions and we got some things to talk to you about that you probably won't hear in the interview. Let's get into the latest. But we're going to get on into the latest.
Yes.
So first up in the news, all over your timeline, Fetty Wap at the Breakfast Club. So today was a very interesting day because Fetty Wap, who, you know, I was able to break his first statement since returning home from prison, popped up at the Breakfast Club and decided that, you know, he wanted to have a conversation about so many things, about, you know, family, about music or, you know, lack thereof right now, because he's focused on just like spending time with his kids, you know, what his first couple of days out have been, just a lot. It was such a wide-ranging conversation, and I felt bad for feeling like this, but when I was sitting there with Fetty Wap as we were talking to him, in my mind, I was like, I'm really happy for him.
I was really happy for him, too. He's in a different place mentally. You could tell.
Yeah, but it just felt weird to be like, I'm really happy for you. You had to do all that time in jail. Like, that's how I was thinking. Yeah. But then I'm like, man, jail really changed his life, if not saved his life.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, and I don't ever want to see anybody behind bars. I know that is rough. Especially you go from being Fetty Wap on top of the world, right? Money issues or not, because at the time that all of his issues were happening before he ended up behind bars, there were conversations about different money issues and him having fun things in his career and just different things by himself, which is how he, you know, ended up in a predicament which landed him behind bars.
Yeah.
But the time that he was able to sit down, and we talked about that, like sitting still, being still. The time he was able to sit down, I think really changed him. Now, granted, it's only been about 48, maybe 72 hours, depending on the day you watching this video or listening to this audio since he's been home. But I don't know, that's what I took away from the conversation.
You know what I took away? I loved how he talked about realizing, and I don't think you need to go to jail to realize it, but I love how he talked about realizing who was really down for him.
Yeah.
When he was there.
Yeah.
You know, because you guys talked about, you know, he would spend money on his 20 friends to go here, to go there, and do all the things. And then when he was there, you know, he named a handful of people, literally on one hand, who showed up for him.
Girl, it wasn't even 5 people.
It wasn't even 5 people.
He said Coi Leray,
50
Cent, Chief Keef, and there was somebody else. His family. I think there might have been.
Was there any? I don't know.
Look, we have the clip. Let's take a listen to who Fetty Wap talked about, you know, really being there for him and what that looked like.
Coi Leray, 50 Cent, Chief Keef. I'll be out too. You know what I'm saying? I'll be out, man. 50 did a lot for me. You know what I'm saying? He from day one, it was like he reached out like, yo, whatever you need, just holler at me.
That's the story of it. Like, you know, you at the top, you got everything going for yourself. You can do everything for people. Everybody's around. Yeah. When things are dark and you can't do as much for people, they're not around.
You see who's down for you.
Exactly. And there's a clip going viral of Fetty Wap running into French Montana and Max B in the hallway at Power 105.1, you know. The powers collided. They stopped. They had a conversation. And I think, you know, Max B is a person who just recently came home as well, too, who I'm sure has so many conversations that he can have about people being down for him, not being down for him, right? Like, you know, like that whole, it's crazy how it all works. Like that cycle of like, you get on, you're able to change your life and change other people's lives. And then the minute that you can't the minute that you have to say no, the minute that you can't answer the phone as much, people stop.
But you know what I like? What's the through line of all 3 of those people that you just named, Max B, French Montana, and Fetty Wap, is that even Max B, he was talking about, you know, he did 18 years, right?
Yeah.
He did 18 years, and he talked about French, just kind of being there for him.
I thought that was so fire.
Right?
I think it's so fire to hear them talk about each other. But I think it's so fire to see French Montana and Max B's relationship play out in real time. Yeah. Like Max B coming home, French taking him to the game, making sure he's straight. Yeah. Because everybody needs a somebody.
Everybody needs a somebody, like especially
Yes.
when you are locked up or whatever that may look like. But just to see their friendship, for all these years, that's amazing.
And one of the other things too that I thought was pretty interesting, I'd asked French Montana. I'd asked Fetty Wap about Masika and some tweets that Masika had tweeted out, and it was very like, I mean, I think by now I've kind of, anything that's like pop culture and trending or whatever, we're going to ask about it when the interview happens, right? And I've kind of gotten in a space where we do these interviews where it's like, because sometimes like it's not the most comfortable thing to bring up, especially because when I'm listening to Fetty Wap talk, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's a weird space to be in. It's like you don't know other than what someone's sitting in front of you and telling you, right? So when I'm hearing him say, yo, I just want to spend time with my kids. Everything was about making up for time that was not spent. Yeah. Will my kids forgive me? I'm going to get back to music. I've already been in the studio, but like right now, redemption is putting that time in. Yeah. And then you see her tweets online where Masika's like, verbatim. She's like, she's calling Fetty Wap a disappointment. She says, how do you get out and be an immediate disappointment? I hate believing in a nigga that I know I shouldn't believe in. And he proves me the F right. Prove me wrong. And she put wrong in all caps. Prove me wrong for once. Damn. First day out and still a bitch ass nigga. Go back. I don't play about my babies and I don't give a F who don't like it. Sorry for the curses, y'all. Y'all know I don't really curse like that on the pod. My kids have been through enough. Let my babies down and you're going to see a different side of me. And I get it. As a mom, if she feels like her kids were wrong, she gonna come like that about her babies.
You turn into a different person when you feel like someone's messing with your kids, whatever that may look like.
Right.
You definitely do.
But in talking to him, I'm like, even when I asked him about it, it was kind of one of them things where my first instinct was, I don't know what's going on inside of their situation, but I hope for the remainder of the time that we have to see them interact with each other until their baby is however old, where they don't have to be as direct in communication. They can figure it out off the internet, because it seems like he is really trying to be in a place of like peace and space where things are growing. But again,
we don't know.
I'm not taking away from him and what he said to us. I can only go by what he's saying to us, though. And I hear her on one side as well, too. So you got to kind of like, I guess you got to kind of take both into account. But let's take a listen to Fetty Wap when I asked him about Masika and how he handled that. I saw her tweet about disappointment, and I know you guys have a daughter together. Like, what's the plan for you or her moving forward?
I appreciate her for, making sure that my daughter knew that I love her. Whenever I call for her, she let me talk to her. You know what I mean? I don't got nothing bad to say about her.
And then he later in the interview went back to it and wanted to clarify just, why his demeanor is the way it is about the situation.
And when it comes down to what you asked me earlier, as far as my daughter's mom, no matter what happens as a man, you stand up. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter what anybody says about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take care of my kids, I'm gonna love you forever. It doesn't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It sounded mature to me, Mimi.
It was very gracious in his response, right? It was he seemed, no matter whatever's happening, he did seem grateful for her holding him down, whatever that may look like.
Yeah, you know right. Even if at like a surface level of just like just answering the phone when he called so he could talk to his daughter is what it sounded like. He was just grateful for that.
He sounded like he was just grateful for that.
Yeah.
So, we don't know all the details, but, just judging from his response. And again, as a mom, I get it. You if I feel like my child isn't getting something from their father, I might get, rah-rah on you too. But I do understand also where he's coming from, like, just thank you, So.
Well, listen, I hope that, all of the gratitude and everything that we've experienced from him in this interview today is what carries on throughout his release. He does have, some strict guidelines around his release. I know he'll be on these strict guidelines for the next 5 years. Drug testing can be a thing. He won't be able to open bank accounts without approval from the feds. And even then, he'll still have to let probation officers know about like taxes and any income. Of course, no alcohol or drugs unless prescribed, which is why they're, potentially will be doing the testing. And if it's up to a judge, he may be tested, through a rehabilitation program, which is set just for him, just to make sure that he stays on track throughout this time, that he'll have to be involved in, this next level of like what monitoring from the government looks like. And for those of you guys who may not remember, Fetty Wap was arrested some years back. And again, he completed a 3-year sentence out of 6 years. So back in May of 2023, Fetty Wap was sentenced to 6 years, so he completed 3 and he is now home. But when he was first busted, he was busted with over 500 grams or more of cocaine and thousands of dollars in cash. But I think it's a big deal that the court decided to let him go, all these months early. I think it speaks volumes to just what he's been able to do rehabilitation-wise for himself.
And what we saw, right?
Yeah, girl.
What we saw.
Yeah. Yes.
It was evident.
Mm-hmm. I've never, that's not true. I guess I have before, but yeah, sitting with him, I was like, okay, yeah. I truly believe he's going to use this second chance that God has given him to make the most out of his situation. And he did. That was so touching.
Yeah, he said that.
It was, because I think for a lot of people, when you are, you have, because he has fame. I don't know how much money he may have left or not, you know what I'm saying? But he has fame, he has the notoriety, there's still a platform. There could still be such an entitlement to what he thinks he should have because of who he was before he was thrown behind bars. Yeah. Everything about the person that just sat in that Breakfast Club room with us today was stripped of all of that. There was no entitlement. There was there was a lot of accountability. And I think that there was a lot of God in that room. I don't know. He didn't talk much about faith besides saying God said it. Yes. But you could literally feel like, oh, his purpose and his, like, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe
who asked him that? Because someone, was it
Charlemagne? Charlemagne, they brought up Proverbs, I believe it's 46:10, where God talks about being still. Psalms 46:10. I think I Googled it. Let me see. Y'all, Taylor brought the baby.
So cute.
So Psalms 46:10, yes, this is what Charlemagne brought up. Be still and know that I am God. I'll be exalted among nations. I'll be exalted in the earth. Let's take a listen to that moment. That was a moment where I was like, oh, baby, God is welcome with this man, and I am so happy to hear it. So happy to see it.
The Bible scripture, I think it's Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. I know people probably said that to you when you said you fell in love with the silence a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just felt good to just hear myself think for a second. Slow it down. Take control of my own life. You know what I'm saying?
How you gonna keep that going now? Because like once things start going and you're moving around and you're touring and all that stuff, like the noise is gonna comes with the celebrity life.
Oh, trust me, it's loud in prison. It's loud. As soon as they pop them doors, it's loud. You know what I mean? You just gotta, whether it be you got your workout team, you know what I'm saying? We hit the yard at a certain time, you know what I mean? We're gonna get our money. Or you in your cell or your bunk and you just, you know what I mean? Yo, look, holla at me later. You know what I mean? Like, they gonna respect it or they gonna, you know what I mean? Or you make them respect it. So it's kind of like the same thing for me, except this time I'm just gonna go in the house. I mean, like, I'm going in the crib, I don't feel like talking, take my phone.
Oh, that's
just that simple.
Yeah,